look so easy, so cool. But if you only knew how we do the good, the bad, the ugly. We get vulnerable, the highs, the lows, everything you wanna know. Top mom to me, top mom to me. Oh, top mom to me, 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 top mom to me.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk Mom to Me. This episode hits a little bit different. I'm here with Chiquita. She is a mom of 4. She is navigating through motherhood now at a very young age, and she had to learn how to cope with grief and healing while raising 4 kids. And she's here today to share her journey. And within the midst of all of that, she turned her pain into purpose and wrote a book called Purposeful Power. And the book is really amazing. I can't wait for her to share. And she just talks about how God was in the midst of everything and how God helped her to see the light and take her out of darkness. So regardless of her tragedy, she put all her burdens, laid all her worries at the altar of God. And she's going to tell us about her journey and how she made it out of darkness.
Mom to me today, I have the beautiful Chiquita with me, and she is going to share her journey with us. Chiquita, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for trusting me and sharing your story. I'll let you go ahead and tell the people who you are and where you're from, and just a little bit about your background and your childhood. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Chiquita. I'm from Virginia, born and raised. I'm now a Florida resident. At my childhood, my parents separated, 2-parent household, not an abusive parenthood, but definitely some things that I did not like in my childhood. I think that's what shaped me into the woman I am today, actually, is watching my parents and the things that I didn't like and picking up or learning from myself the things that I wanted to be as an adult and as a parent. So not a bad childhood, but not the best childhood either. But right now, I would say I'm unlearning a lot of behaviors from my childhood and just trying to break a lot of generational curses.
Yeah.
For myself, for my family.
What behaviors are you trying to break, or what behaviors do you not want to pass on to your kids?
The way they think about certain things, especially like finances, how they treat people, that having that respect and love as a family unit is very important to me. I didn't have both my parents in the household. So I definitely was trying to give them the 2-parent household that I did not have. That's still the goal. However, I'm not prioritizing dating right now, but that's still a goal for me, is to make sure they have a 2-parent household and that they understand finances. They understand how to treat people. They understand how to know themselves and love themselves. I think that's very important. Like, I missed out on, I feel like, ways to cope with certain things and how to manage my emotions was probably one of the biggest things in me. So I'm definitely trying to teach them that. Everything that I'm learning, I'm passing down like I'm supposed to.
So who was Chiquita before she had kids? What was life like for you?
Man, a big dreamer. I would definitely say I had a lot of dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish before becoming a mom. And I didn't plan a lot of things. And obviously that's why I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It just throws you a curveball, right? Like I said, I had all these plans. I had all these dreams and goals and things that I wanted to accomplish. And then I was 19. Actually, I was 18 when I got pregnant, when I found out I was pregnant. I had him when I was 19. I just graduated from high school. So it was like, I don't know how to be a mom.
Yeah.
And everything that I had learned from my mom, I was like, oh, I can't do that.
I completely understand. Now, when you found out you were pregnant, now getting out of high school, like, what was going through your mind? Like,
I cried. I remember taking 4 pregnancy tests. And I was like, man, these are all saying pregnant. Is this real? I sat in my bathroom on the toilet and I just cried because I knew my mom was going to give it to me. I thought my dad was going to, but he was just like, really? I'm going to be a granddad? I'm like, look, I'm 18.
Yeah.
So, and the kicker to me finding out I was pregnant, I was like 16 weeks. So there was no thinking about it. It was like, oh, you have a baby coming in less than 6 months. So yeah, I mean, I was scared. I was nervous. I was like, my mom's going to disown me. And she was very upset. My mom gave me the business. She was very mad. That whole process was just crazy.
Yeah.
Happened to move out of her house.
Oh, so they wanted you to move out once they found out you were pregnant?
Well, that process had already kind of started, but it was like,
Okay.
I'm done with everything. My name's coming off everything. No car insurance. Like I literally became an adult before I was 18. So yeah, I was living with my son's father. I remember I was like exam week for high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
That was when that transition happened for me. Out of my parents' house to crazy, but my boss. I was working at Domino's Pizza at that time. Um I don't know if I have time to break down the whole story. I don't mind sharing, but it's a lot. So But all over computer. All over computer. My mom was very anal about certain things. And it was like, shut down my computer because I would do my homework on her computer. And she said, shut down my computer. If it's not shut down, when I come back, I'm going to be upset. Da, da, da. But I had to go to work. And my grandmother was at the house. I said, Grandma, all you got to do is click this button. It's going to shut down. She didn't click the button. So when I got off that day, my mom was so upset. She locked me out of the house. Like I came in, we got into our little debate, disagreement, whatever. And I went outside because I was like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to sit on the porch, let things cool down. I didn't grab my keys, didn't grab shoes or anything to my car. And I tried to get back in the house. She had locked me out. And I'm like,
And you're pregnant during this time, right?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know I was pregnant at this time. I didn't know I was pregnant at this time. So where was that? Okay, so she locked me out. I ended up walking back to my job. At this very point, I wasn't aware of being pregnant. I walked to my job and my manager was still there. She was closing down the store and she locked me in the store with her. My mom drove up to the store trying to get me out of the store so she can beat me with a belt. Now, mind you, I'm working, I'm paying for my own clothes, my own food. Only thing, she provided the roof over my head. That was it. I'm paying my own car insurance. The car was paid off, so I didn't have a car note at that time. So I ended up staying with my boss, sleeping on her couch. I didn't have any clothes. I didn't have my shoes. I didn't have the keys to my car. So my manager is taking me back and forth to school just so I can take my exam, and then I have to come back to her house. And mind you, I'm in a giant white t-shirt, some sweatpants, and some socks that aren't mine for a week.
What?
Yes. My mom I tried to bring this up to her. She would not acknowledge the fact that happened.
Up to this day, she won't.
She's like, forget about the things of the past. I'm holding on to the past, is what she'll tell me.
No, Mom, we need to talk about this. We need to
That's a part of the healing process though, right?
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that she did admit to and apologize for, but she's not acknowledging everything that happened. And that, I think that's like essential to your healing, is to see the person understands what they put you through.
Yeah.
It's important, but it's not a end all be all if you don't get that closure. But I do definitely think that it helps. It helps your healing process. For you to have identity of why it happened.
So you feel like you've forgiven your mom for all the things that you and her been through?
I've definitely forgiven my mom. It wasn't easy. And for the longest, I didn't even think it was bothering me. I did a fast. It's a 26-day fast. And at the end of that fast, like 3 days after that fast had ended, my mom had texted me and she apologized to me for like all of the stuff that I had acknowledged with her, that I had told her that she had done to me. I would say hollow, not definitely little parts that were missed. There were some things in there that she hasn't acknowledged, but high level, right? She was like, the stuff, like how she talked to me, she was very negative. She used to call me a lot of names. One thing in particular, I would say, she told me that I would be a baby mother that lived in the projects that didn't know who my baby daddies were. This is coming from my mom, right? So she acknowledged why she was the way she was. And that was big for me. So a lot of the times my mom, she was what do you call it? I don't know. It's like people who date a lot. Like right after they date somebody, they date somebody else. They just always dating somebody new. It's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now. But she was one of those people. And it wasn't like a keep these guys away from my kids thing. It was like, oh, I'm dating him. He can meet my kids. He could be in my house type of thing. So I probably met a new guy every 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that's a part of why I'm not like a serial dater myself.
That's the word, a serial dater.
Serial dater, yeah. I really think that that's why I'm like, I don't want a bunch of guys in my house around my kid. That's too much for me.
Especially today, you can't trust people and it's just too much going on. And you have to be
Yes.
really cautious, especially having, younger kids. So I get it.
Yes.
I completely get it.
That's how you get a lot of traumas and childhood traumas is if you are
Yeah.
very cautious with who you have around your kids. So I didn't have a lot of people watching my kids even. Like I didn't even let my son's grandmother watch my son when he was coming up because I just didn't trust her to pay good attention for him. You know what I mean? Her lifestyle. I was like,
So
no.
did your mom and her mom, I guess did they have a good relationship or was it like whatever happened with them, it kind of trickled over to
Say they had a bad relationship because my grandmother she's very heavy in the Bible. She's very heavy in the word. So she's like, okay, whatever you do to me, you done to me. It is what it is. She's not heavy snapback. She's not gonna give you a lot of grief about what you're doing to her. It's like, I'm gonna let God take care of it type of thing, right? Oh. I can't say they had a bad relationship, but I can say that my mom wasn't respectful of my grandmother. So it was back talk. It was negative, a lot of negative talk. So yes, in that aspect, yes. And that's kind of where our relationship was. I'm not gonna lie. It took me some time, but I was, I used to talk back to my mother. But I will say it was because I didn't respect her and I didn't respect how she treated me.
right.
It wasn't like cursing you out, calling you out your name type of disrespect. It was more so of me defending myself, my character, and who I am, growing up. Like, you're not raising me to be this respectful, positive woman. You can't come at me. I'm technically raising myself. So it was like that type of relationship. We have gotten a lot better.
That's good. That's good.
Better. She's definitely showing progress in her growth as a woman and as a grandmother. I can definitely say she does put a lot of positive nuggets in my older daughter based on the situation I probably dive into a little more that she's been experiencing with her grief. Okay. My mom has definitely helped out in that aspect. From the phone, she hasn't visited, but it's still the fact that she'll call her and she's like, hey, what's been going on? How are you doing in school? And she's like putting a lot of positivity in her. And that's why I say her growth was because she didn't do that to me. I didn't get that. So
Yeah. I can relate. I feel like nowadays, the things that we didn't get from our parents, they're now doing it with our kids or even with our younger siblings. And you look back, I was like, well, you ain't let me go to the football game or you ain't let me do this or do that. But I'm like, but that's it. I think now that they're older, they're tired, they don't have that fight anymore. So they're like, you know what, do what you want. So I completely understand it. But I'm glad that you guys are both going through that healing journey together. And I think it's important to take accountability of, the things that you do to other people. Because like you said, those generational curses will follow you.
Yes.
I'm a strong believer of that. Now tell me, how old are your kids?
So I have 16. That's my oldest son. My oldest daughter is 10. My younger son is 8. And my youngest daughter is 6.
Okay. So what was life like before everything happened and you losing your husband?
It wasn't bad. I felt like we had schedules for our kids. We would travel regularly with our kids. Like we ended up traveling for their birthdays instead of doing like birthday parties and stuff like that. So I felt like we were pretty good.
Yeah.
Financially, we were, doing pretty good. It wasn't like a struggle type of marriage, struggle type of love. There were difficulties. He was what you call a functioning alcoholic. And I had no idea what that was. I didn't know anything around it because I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any other drugs. So when someone's a functioning alcoholic, they can be drunk at any given point and still carry on like normal. He was being a dad. He was being a decent husband. He was going to work. You know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't really see the issues until I got pregnant with my last child. That pregnancy was rough. Say rough because that's what I feel like everything he was trying to hide was starting to come up. So
How
that
long
was
were you
the turning
together?
point in our relationship.
Okay. How long have you guys been together?
We were together almost 10 years before he passed, married for almost 7.
How did you guys meet?
Through a friend that I went to college with, she was dating his cousin.
Okay.
And she was doing like I guess what you call a friendsgiving at her apartment, and he was there. It was kind of like I feel like it was a blind date situation. It wasn't like he
Yeah.
was just there. I feel like it was a setup. So yeah, we were playing this dance game on the Xbox, and we just had fun. We just actually like hit it off. We were vibing. It's crazy because that's actually he stole a first kiss from me that day. I was like, I just met
Oh,
you.
I love it.
But yeah, we were just cool. We vibed. It was a nice little connection going. We had similar things and like in common, our goals. I was very straightforward, I would say, with him before we went further, letting him know, yeah, I got a son, I have goals, I want to do this, I want to do that. And as long as what you got going on don't interfere with this, we good. After we had that conversation, it was just like, okay, we're good.
I love it. Time go by, you guys have kids, you get married, and then life is good. Fast forward, and tragedy happens.
Yeah.
So what was that season like? Or if you don't mind sharing how he passed. If not, it's totally fine.
No, the kids know now.
Okay.
They're aware of how
Okay.
it happened. So I did say a turning point for the relationship was when I got pregnant with my last child. He didn't take he didn't do maternity pictures with me. He was starting to stay out more. There was a restaurant like I said about 10 minutes away from my house. And on his way back from work, he'll stop at this restaurant and he will drink and he'll be out all hours of the night. One particular night where I will say I was just like it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I kept like FaceTiming him. I was calling him and he wasn't answering the phone. And mind you, at this point we had one car. So he was using my car to work. So I'm like, okay, where is he? Like, can you imagine you finding this information out about your person and it's starting to like reveal itself to you that he's drinking more? And at first I thought it was my pregnancy. Okay, maybe he didn't want another baby, but he said he was excited about the baby. So I'm like, what's the problem? But he was drinking more. He was at the restaurant. He was getting drunk. I had to Uber to my car because I didn't want him to drink and drive. So I had to Uber to my car, pick up my car, bring it home and then still calling him and make sure he was okay, but he just was not picking up the phone. And so when he actually got in the house, he came in, he was like stumbling, and I'm like what's going on? Like, why do you keep drinking like this? Trying to figure out what the heck was going on. You know, this man swung on me and was this close. Like I felt the wind past my nose because he swung on me straight in my face. I was like, okay, I've never been in an abusive relationship and I'm
Right.
definitely not to be in one. So I remember I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't care about the two. Like really my biggest thing was not wanting to do the 2-parent household thing. That was my biggest thing. And I remember talking to my friend. She's very prayer warrior. You know, she prayed right there on the phone. She was like, you know how God feels about divorce. He was like, he didn't actually hit you. Is this forgivable? Is this something y'all can work out? And I'm like, I just see this going bad. Like I just see it not ending well. So I'm like, I need to get out of this. And she's like, no, if you could stick in it, just, and she was praying for me. And then he was on the phone with her husband, which is, he's a warrior, and was praying with him. So I'm like, okay, God, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying my own prayers and I'm talking to God. I was like, I don't know how I ended up in this situation. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. He just would not tell me what the issue was. And so fast forward, he was like, we should do a fresh start. Let's get out of Virginia. I'm like, okay, where are we going? That was just our conversation. So my son's father, he has suggested Florida. He wanted to come to Florida. And I was like, I don't mind selling a house or whatever as long as my lifestyle don't change. I worked too hard to get to this point. I'm not trying to move and be struggling or, you know what I'm saying, taxes or something crazy. So we started doing the research. We actually don't pay property taxes here unless you own your house. And then you don't pay state taxes. So I'm like, okay, this should work. So we put the house up. We sold the house. I'd say it took about a month and a half on the market. Sold the house, came down. So we're in a complete different neighborhood. And I don't have all of my security stuff up. I didn't have any of my cameras up. Only thing we had at this point was the Ring camera. He's drunk and I hear noise in the backyard. And I'm like, do I go look at this? And I'm like trying to wake him up. I'm like, hey, I heard something. This don't sound right. I need you to go check it out. He's not waking up. So at that moment, it clicked for me. I was like, all right, Chiquita, you need to, first of all, I was thinking about, at this time, I would say too, it was a bunch of trafficking going on. They was snatching women up from gas stations. So I'm like, okay, this is happening. I hear this noise. I'm like, Chiquita, it's time for you to get protection for yourself and
Right.
your so I did. I went through the whole process of getting my gun registered and all that stuff like that. It went bad. That first year in that house, it just progressively got worse. I don't even know where to start. I would say we had what they call the block hot. The police came to my house so much during this year before he actually.
Wow.
So he had got. I'll go through the phone calls, I guess. The first time I had to call was because he had took my devices. So I'm an Apple girl, the Apple ecosystem. Yeah. He took my phones. Well, he tried to take both my phones. I still had another phone. My iPad, my laptop. At this point, he was in control of the internet. He turned the internet off from his phone. So I'm supposed to be at work and I don't have internet. I'm like, okay, I'll just use my cell phone hotspot or whatever. Because I don't want to argue. And I didn't know what it was that he was trying to do. And he kept asking me, he's like, come in the room so we could talk. And I'm like, we could talk right here. And I'm at my work desk. And he's like, no, I really need to talk to you in private. At this point, only 2 of our kids were not in school. 2 were in school, 2 were not. He kept saying, come in the room. And I was like, I don't want to come in the room. We can talk right here, whatever you want to talk about, talk right here. And at this point, too, I didn't know that he had gathered all that stuff up because I still had the one phone. So I'm like, why does he want me in the room? First of all, he had went in my gun safe and took my gun. I found that out because the police found it outside of the safe. I was like, okay, that could have went bad. But because his name was on the lease, I couldn't have him removed. They were like, separate. That was 2 calls actually that day. I took care of 2 calls. The third time, his brother had actually texted me and told me that he had called the police because he was threatening me to his cousin and to his brother, saying that he would kill me and himself. And I'm like, he texts me, he's like, get out of the house. I'm like, I'm at work. Why am I leaving my house? He's like, well, I had to call the police. Jason is talking crazy. Y'all need to get out the house. Take the kids, get out the house. And at this point, my oldest daughter was about to get off the school bus. I'm like, okay, I'll just go sit at the bus stop and wait. By the time I got her off the bus and was coming back home, he was being arrested. They took him out the house. So he ended up going to rehab for like 6 weeks in North Carolina. So at that point, I had become a single mom. I kept the kids in school, still went to work, kept the schedule going. When he came back, I told him he couldn't live at the house. He had to find somewhere else to go. So before they released him from the rehab, we had our counseling session that we had to do. And I told her, I was like, he can't come back here. So he ended up in an Oxford home. I think
Is that like
so. They take in people who had drug addictions or alcohol addictions, and they pretty much housed together. I think they received like a stipend to help them pay for whatever house they were in. And he ended up being in charge of the house's finances. Excuse me. And during that process, he expressed to me that, he didn't want to stay there anymore because he was seeing people like overdose and stuff. So a lot of these people will come to the Oxford house and still be addicted. So he had seen some things. And I think that was his turning point for him. And that's when he ended up getting his own place. When he got his own place, I thought, he was good. He was going to work. He had moved on. He was excited about that. That's how he portrayed it to me, was that he was happy. He moved on. And he was there for 2 months. That day, specifically, I was at home the day he passed. I was at home. I was literally in my healing process, wrote a letter to my childhood self. And I was in the middle of crying because of remember I said I was a dreamer. So I had all these goals and all these plans. And it clicked for me like, okay, you're not living a bad life, but you're not living the life that you wanted, essentially that I thought I was going to have. And I'm like going through all of the obstacles that I ran into to get to this point, and it just had me in tears.
Can I just say something really quick? If this conversation has resonated with you, if you feel seen right now, just don't watch it quietly. Please like this video so more moms like yourself can find it. Share it with a mom who needs to hear this, and comment below. I do read the comments. And if you want more real, honest motherhood conversations like this, subscribe to Talk Mom to Me. This is a safe space, and we're building this thing together.
Me in tears. So he had called me. Mind you, I'm in the middle of crying and writing this letter. He had called me and he was like, I didn't know you moved on and fell in love so fast. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm confused because my outlet was poetry. So I have so many poems in my phone right now from that time frame because that was how I got a lot of my emotions out. And I posted one of them on my Facebook, and I'm guessing that poem is what he was talking about. But I hadn't moved on. I was actually scared to date because of what we were going through. I didn't know how he was going to respond. So I was just like, I'm not about to drag anybody into this. Let me figure out what's going on first. So I wasn't dating and I hadn't fallen in love. And so I'm like, I'm not sure. I wrote a poem. I'm trying to explain this to him and he's not hearing it. And this whole time I'm thinking he's at work and he's just calling me on, I don't know, because he wasn't supposed to be on his phone. So that started around 7 a.m. Everything happened around 4 o'clock that afternoon. So this whole time we're texting, he FaceTimed me when he was supposedly on his lunch. This whole time he was at home. So even when we did the call, he had me thinking he was at work at lunch and he was like airing all of our crap to everybody because he was like, you're on speakerphone, they can hear you. And mind you, at this point, I'm still not trying to argue with him, but I'm still defending myself. Like, I ain't dating. I'm saying I'm not doing anything. I'm just here minding my business, trying to write a letter, trying to heal. And you call me with this nonsense. And I'm upset, but I'm not like cursing at this point. And so he was on speakerphone. He was like, see how my wife treat me. She don't love me. She don't care about me. She don't appreciate me. And he's like loud about it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. He's at work doing this. Like, why are you doing this? So that whole day he was trying to pick a fight with me. And I think that was where it had already clicked for him that he wanted to be done. He's trying to pick an argument this whole day. And he eventually tells me, he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. And in my head, I'm like, maybe he's talking about he don't want to be in Florida no more. Like, I said, what, are you going back to Virginia? Like, are you moving back? Like, you got to let me know these things because I got to figure out how I need to operate with the kids and how they're going to feel about it. And he didn't break down for me that it was, you don't want to be here alive. And he didn't break that down for me. So I'd say about around 4:22, she was like, tell the kids that I love them. I'm not going to make it, to pick them up. I was like, okay, why? Why are you not coming to get them? I was like, if traffic or gas or something is a problem, I can bring them to you. And he was like, I'm just not going to make it. I was like, okay. It was his week. So in my head, again, I'm not thinking that he's going through any of this stuff. And yeah, I went to his house so I can drop the kids off. I remember my daughter knocking on the door. I remember telling my daughter to knock on the door because he wasn't answering for me. So I was like, Jilla, go knock on the door and see if your dad will come out for you. He didn't come out. He's pleading, let me in, Dad, I'm here. Open the door. He didn't pick up. He didn't open the door. So I'm like, all right, I'm texting him. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to have to call the police and get them to come in the house because, like, I'm not about to break in the door. So the police, they knocked. It's like, well, we can't kick in the door if he's not in any danger. He don't have any weapons. I'm like, at this point, he did tell me that he had went to the pawn shop and bought a gun. So I'm like telling them that. It's like, no, we still can't break in a door. So they put in a missing person, filed paperwork, whatever. The next day, they had called me. I was at work. And they're like, his rental office will give you a key to the apartment so that you can get in. So I tell my son, I'm like, look, come home so you can watch the kids. I'm going to go try to handle this or whatever. His dad told him he couldn't come watch the kids. So I ended up not going to get the keys so I didn't get out. I didn't want to take my kids. So around 11:40 that night, I got a call from the detective, and he was like, "I need to talk to you. I need to come to you in person, ask you some questions." And I was like, "Well, why can't you do this over the phone?" And he was like, I told him, "Yeah, that's fine." It was about 40 minutes later, he got there and he was asking me questions. Has he ever had a seizure? Was he on any medications? And I'm like, no, he declined every medication they offered him. He didn't want to take anything. So I told him, I was like, he never had a seizure. He didn't have any health issues. Last time he went to the hospital, he declined all the medicines, da da da. And then they told me, it was like, well, we found him. He was on the kitchen floor with his tongue out. So we wanted to, we wasn't sure if he had a seizure, da da da. And I'm like, you're not going to just tiptoe that past me. What do you mean? You found him on the floor with his tongue out. It's like we also found a bottle of vodka, some other bottle of alcohol that was completely empty, um, and a vape pen. And I was like, okay, he didn't vape. I never saw him vape. I never saw him smoke. So I'm like, okay. And so they did explain to me, he was done. I didn't know exactly what happened until they gave me his death certificate, which said that he died from an overdose of alcohol and fentanyl.
Mm.
Yeah. I just remember crying my eyes out. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna tell my kids this? What the heck? Like, is this real? Is this really happening? Is it like, and the detective was like, I understand this is hard. If you need anything, he gave me his card. I'm just like, as soon as I closed the door, I broke down. I was on the floor crying. The Trey Songz space, like it was heavy. It was a lot. I didn't tell my kids for like the first week. I remember telling my aunt and my uncle, they were the only two who came down and was there present with me, with the kids, to help with the kids. My mom didn't come down. My dad didn't come down. His people didn't come down until the funeral.
Oh, well.
So yeah, and I'm like, okay, I have to plan this funeral. And then my daughter's birthday was the day after. She had turned 3. Yeah. So I'm all over the place. And I would say I have extreme appreciation for my coworker at the time. She helped me. She called all of the places, like, 'cause she had did it before, planned funerals. She had went through the process before. So she was calling the funeral homes in the background while I'm handling kids. And she really showed up. She actually flew out here, did the funeral, and then flew back out.
That's a good friend.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. She definitely helped out a lot. But yeah, so I did that, and then the day after, I did a little party for my daughter. It was rocky, I would say, the first week because she was still looking for her daddy. So I have like Alexas all through my house, and she would, Alexa, call daddy every day. Just like she was younger, so of course she didn't get it, but my older 2 middle kids, they understood. And so they was like, "Daddy's not gonna answer the phone. He's not here anymore." They didn't say it like he's dead. Like it was just like, "He's not here anymore."
Yeah.
He's oh. She was a mama's girl then too. So I think over time it was just, I'd say that the first week. After the first week, it stopped being Alexa call dad. So even now when we're praying, I don't know where this is. Oh no, Alexa, no. Yeah. So, after that first week, it wasn't that anymore. Now we cover him in prayer. I don't know where this came from, but they don't say dad. They call him by his name. I can't figure that one out. And
Mm.
I don't really know what to say to it. I'm just like, he's still your dad just because he's not here. He's still your dad. You can still call him dad, but they call him by his name now.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was how that went. I got stuck at the angry part of grief because I didn't understand. I still don't understand, obviously, but why didn't he say anything? He played to me like he was happy. He was moving on. So
Do you think he was grieving the loss of his marriage?
yes. So that was the summary. There's a lot actually that went into that day. He did tell me that he didn't want to live without me. He did say that He didn't want to see another man raising his kids. And my biggest thing was, I'm not looking to replace you. The whole point of the separation was so you can figure out what it is that you wanted, so that you can heal. I feel like he based so much of his time around us. So he didn't make a lot of time for himself. And you don't know yourself. You don't know what you want. And you're doing, like, he was drinking and driving with the kids in a car, just real reckless stuff. And it was like, you need to figure that out. I'm I'm offering therapy. Let's go to therapy. Let's talk about it. Let's do counseling. We do family counseling. You can do counseling by yourself. I did therapy by myself. I was totally fine. So I'm like, I feel like separation is the best thing because you can pay attention to yourself. You're not worried about me. You're not worried about the kids. Well, you have some worry with the kids because you're still going to have them, but it's not all of your time to us, which it sounds like I'm complaining about a husband that's like paying attention to us, but I feel like he was lost on himself. And you can't be a leader if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going. Where are you leading your family to? He stopped doing stuff for himself. Like there would be moments where he wear the same sweatpants for like a week. He wasn't working out anymore. He wasn't eating right. He wasn't going to the dentist. It's like, dude, like you don't have to put everything into us. I didn't want to be your everything. I want to be a part of your world. I don't want to be your world. So I don't know. That sounds so bad, but no, you gotta have some touch with yourself. Know yourself and love yourself and appreciate yourself. And I feel like because he didn't know how to love himself, he wasn't loving me properly. And I don't think he saw that.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, I don't know what goes through the head of somebody that's an addict. So I feel like when they're in it, they get so deep into it. And especially if you don't have a support system around you, or you don't have, I don't know, you said the family and stuff didn't come down. Was he not close with his family at all?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I say yes and no because before we started living together, he was living with his family and they wasn't positive influences on him. To me, because if you know your family member has a drinking issue, why are you throwing parties every weekend and having him drink? When I met him, I think he was on his third DU. That was before me. So I'm like, I'm not judging you based off of your past. And he didn't drink in front of me at all while we were dating. So it was like, where is this functioning alcohol part coming in at? Because I don't see you drink. And like I said, I don't drink. So I didn't buy alcohol. It wasn't like it was just readily available in my refrigerator or in my cabinets. I didn't even buy wine. I still to this day don't buy wine. Like I'll have a sip, but because of that, I'm like, I don't need it. I've been doing mocktails since I was old enough to drink. Obviously, when I was old enough, I probably had 2 shots. I got tipsy from those 2 shots, and I was like, this isn't for me. This
Yeah.
isn't for me. So no, like I've never been drunk. I've never blacked out or anything like that. I didn't know what it looked like, and I wasn't around people who drank like that either to get drunk. Like I've obviously
Right.
seen mom drink beers and my dad drink little beers here and there, but they that I know of. But this new word, functioning alcoholic, they didn't show me signs of being drunk, stumbling, and you know what I mean. So it's like that was my idea of being drunk, is if I'm seeing you
Yeah.
stumbling across your words and stuff like that. So when he said high functioning alcoholic, I was like, oh, this is new to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I learned a lot from that experience.
With you going, like, grieving that process, how were you able to still show up for the kids?
I would definitely say, again, God, that whole year is when I started to develop a relationship with God, not just going to church, not just being in the word and doing stuff out of habit. It was like I was genuinely trying to get to know God and understanding the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, and really understanding what I'm reading in the Bible and how to actually apply it to my life. So when everything had went down, I was already into journaling, but to journal more, spend way more time in the Bible. And then it was a thought process for me. It was like, this happened, and this sounds bad, but life has to go on. I couldn't stop because that happened because I need my kids to see that I'm strong and I can get through this. At this point, I think in my mind, I became the Hulk of my household. And so that comes with being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and yes, physically strong. All I could think about was my kids and what example I'm setting for them. So I think I took like a day off maybe um to kind of process it because I don't think I can't say that I've fully processed the fact that he's not here. I don't know if you can ever say it's fully processed and you fully heal from it because I'm still raising his kids.
Right.
It's always going to come back to he's not here anymore because I don't have that help. And I have a little boy that I have to raise to be a man. Like I'm always gonna think like, oh dang, he got his dad. I gotta do this and I gotta do that. He don't have a father. So you know what I mean? So yeah, just thinking about them and how to stay mentally and emotionally strong. Journaling helped out a lot. Staying in the word. Fitness definitely took my mind off. I got really heavy into kickboxing, to the point where I bought a bag for my garage. That's my stress reliever away from the gym. So I would definitely say fitness helped out a lot with my mental health.
What did the day-to-day look like for the kids, like, after everything happened? How did you have to, I guess, adjust? I know it's probably been times where you wanted to just, like, curl up in the bed and, like, "I don't wanna do anything."
I have those days. Like,
Yeah.
man, a break. I kept them in school. I had to do a lot of behind the scenes work because I did move after that happened. That's when I, and I was in the process of looking before it happened. After it happened, I had to tell my realtor I got to slow down for a little bit. After the funeral and everything, I was like, all right, I got to keep going. So I got in contact with my realtor and kept going through the process of looking for a place. The day to day was I still went to work. They still went to school. I did have to use some of my time, obviously, while they were in school. I became really good with mastering getting stuff done while they were at school, the best I could. So I was multitasking a lot because I work from home too. So, and I'm not like I wasn't on the phone or anything. So that's when I'm making my phone calls, setting up whatever I need to set up behind the scenes. Bought the house, went through that process. We had it built. Schools, getting them enrolled for schools, making sure they were still going to the dentist and going to the doctor. So it's like scheduling that schedule, that calendar,
Yeah.
that iPhone calendar. And Alexa was my assistant. I lie to you not. Alexa reminds me, hey, you got this coming up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I had to lean on my tech savviness a lot too. But yeah, kept everything flowing.
Did you get to a point where it's like you woke up and like, I don't know if I can do this, or like, God, how am I gonna get through it? I'm sure you probably still have those moments now.
Still having those days.
Yeah.
I set up what I call the altar. So I have two big pillows by my bed. And when things get heavy, I look at it. I don't know how y'all gonna feel about it, but I look at it as I'm literally laying in God's lap having a conversation with my dad.
Mm.
And I release it all to him, everything. I've sat at the altar laying on those pillows, crying my eyes out a lot of the time. Because it's not just the fact that he's not here. There are challenges in being a parent and not having a village in general. So we were each other's support system for all those years, you know. Like my dad will come, like before we moved, my dad will come and he'll help here and there. But even before we moved, it was still just us. So, you know, like it going from two to now just me, I leaned very heavy on what I learned throughout that process of doing everything by myself anyway, because there was a point in time too where he worked night shift. So, you know, I had to navigate being by myself with my kids while he's at work. So I just leaned heavily on that as well.
What does life look like today? I know you have a lot of great things going on. I see the kids popping in and out. They look happy.
Yeah.
You look great.
Thank you.
And, tell me a little bit about all of the many things that you have going on in life right now.
So just building my brands. Honestly, I think this has definitely opened the door for me to want to help other women who may feel stuck. Cause I feel like a lot of times people, when they experience trauma or a loss, that they don't really know what to do or how to navigate life after experiencing certain traumas and losses. So I feel like this is my opportunity to kind of reach those people. And that's where the book came from, God inspired, because I did not have a plan on writing a book.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my to-do list at all.
So let's talk about the book. Here it is. I love the front page. It is awesome. I'm gonna
Thank
work on my 6-pack. So hopefully once I get through it, I can have this too. But purposeful power. So tell me what motivated you to write this and how did it start? Just tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, from my own experiences, my loss, having that connection with God, like I said, fitness was big for me, journaling, understanding who I am was important because, like I said, I'm trying to break all those generational curses. So I felt the need to reach others who were going through similar things and didn't know how to cross that line, after they experienced loss or had some type of trauma. A lot of times people get stuck. And I realized like people are stuck sometimes without going through a loss or having a traumatic experience. They just don't know the next step. Like they're lost in life in general. And that's where that came in. It's finding your identity, understanding who you are, understanding who God called you to be, finding that purpose is, I think, important for you to live a healthy, God-filled life. Like, what are you here for? You know what I mean? God gave all of us a purpose. And it's like a lot of people have struggles in finding who they are and that purpose. And that's what the book, hopefully is guiding people to finding their purpose, finding their identity in Christ and healing through whatever traumas, childhood traumas, adulthood traumas, because we still go through trauma to this day as an adult, different things that we go through every day. And it's giving you those skills to navigate through life pretty much and the different things that we experience in life. Now you have different coping mechanisms to help continue your thought process and how to heal through certain things and continue forward, continue to that purpose God has given you, called you to.
Yeah. I think it was one part in here that stuck out to me. It says, but purpose has a way of finding us in the middle of our pain. And I think sometimes God will put us in situations, will make us go through certain things, and it's like a light bulb will go off. It's like,
Yep.
oh, well, okay, maybe this was what I'm supposed to be doing, or okay, maybe God, I see what you did there. Now
Well,
I
not
know what I'm supposed to
lesson,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I love it, and I like this. I always get books of like motivational books or all those type of books out there. But this one I really like because it's like mind, body, soul, or mind, body, spirit. It's like it's all aligning. So you
Yes.
have the word, you're moving your body, and you're getting in touch with God. So I absolutely love it. Now tell people where they can find your book.
Amazon. On Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Oh, it's out there. Yeah, it's on every platform. I have a specific link because sometimes Amazon price jumps.
Mm, okay.
Use
And
the in my link tree. You'll get it for the $24.99.
how has like your support system or your village been for you going through this whole journey?
What village? No. I feel like God have placed certain people in my life to help guide me through this process, different seasons of my life. Um, because I'm still fixing the village, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm still collecting, So I can't say that I have a village. It's been me. I don't want to seem selfish and like I'm not giving credit where credit is due, but I would definitely say a lot of it has been God powered through me. So I am still putting my village together. Like I'm a part of certain groups, 'cause I model as well. So I have like the modeling group. I have this entrepreneurial group that I'm a part of. And I'm just navigating those spaces and building my village out from that standpoint. A lot of the entrepreneur women, they're moms as well. So we kind of knowledge share and help each other out in that way. But as far when I think of village, I'm thinking about actual physical people who are in this with me, like actually in it with me. So I am trying to build that village out to where there are people that I can trust and helping me with the kids. But right now it's me.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're living out those dreams that you had before having kids? Do you feel like you're living out some of those dreams now, or do you feel like because of the experiences that you've had now, you have a different set of dreams?
I would definitely say curveball,
Yeah.
but I think everything is kind of coming together very, very close to how I saw my life prior to having kids. I've done a movie. I've been in my modeling space. That was something that was really big on my list. So that kind of fell in my lap. So I'm like, okay, God, these are prayers that I prayed when I was a child. So to see those prayers answered as an adult is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll say that. So I think everything's kind of coming together. And I think I wouldn't change it because it definitely helped me develop my character. It's made me mentally stronger. So I know how to handle different situations with and professionalism for sure. So I would definitely say character development was very big in all of the experiences.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate where I am now. I didn't grow up without, you know what I mean? So it's not like I was like, not wasn't well off. I wasn't rich or anything, but my family had, they were good. They were stable.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I missed out on anything from that, but there are definitely things that I give my children now and I provide to my children now that I wish I would have had as a child for sure. So that it's coming together.
Yeah.
It's coming together. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
close that.
From the outside looking in, it just seems like you're doing a really great job. You don't look like what you've been through. And I think that's just being a woman of God and standing strong in your faith. And regardless of what has been thrown at you, you laid all that burden at his feet. So a woman that mom or whoever that's going through the same thing, or you maybe have encountered the same thing you have, what would you tell her?
Pray about it. Give
Yeah.
it to God. Don't try to carry that weight by yourself. It's a weight that you wasn't really meant to carry. Give it to God.
Yeah. What would you want your kids to, seeing you navigate through this, would you want your kids to take from the season that you were in?
To understand that life isn't perfect, to understand that there are ways to handle situations with grace and like I said, professionalism. And taking everything to God is so important because life will throw some blows at you that if you're not mentally and emotionally and spiritually strong enough to handle, can definitely take you out. Like you really have to be in alignment. That's important. So I'm really praying. I've been praying heavy over them as well and praying that they stay in alignment, operate in obedience and alignment. Yeah.
How do you keep your husband's memory alive for your kids?
So he was a holiday person. I'm not really big on holidays, but he was. So he would decorate the house for like Christmas. We'll do big dinners for Thanksgiving, the typical celebrations of the US holidays.
Yeah.
So I keep that alive through that, making sure because his birthday is on New Year's Day. So I do, I talk to them about him. They have all of the pictures and stuff, and whatever they want to talk about, any questions they have, I answer with honesty. I definitely don't try to hide anything from them when it comes to him. In fact, like any leftover clothing items I gave to my daughter. I made sure they have something of his. I just, make sure I talk to them about him. I show them memories in my phone when they come up because, iPhone creates the little videos.
Oh, yeah.
So they see those and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What does motherhood mean to you now compared to before your loss?
What does it mean to me? Everything. I think it definitely made me go harder with understanding how to give grace for one, because kids, they do a lot. My kids be writing on the walls and everything. So it's like it definitely taught me how to show grace, and to appreciate the little moments. Because they grow up so fast. And with everything that I have going on, creating memories with them is way more important to me. Being present with them is way more important to me than any job, any money, anything like that, and making sure that they grasp like certain concepts so that they could be what I call productive adults in
Yeah.
society. So that it's everything. It's God. And me being a mom, that's my priority is my kids.
Yeah. Going forward, do you see yourself dating again or being married again?
Yes, I definitely think that's a desire that God has placed on my heart. I always saw myself being a wife. I feel like I was called to be a wife. I pray about it. Dating, it scares me a little
Yeah.
bit because, I'm a mom and I have to be very, very careful with who I have around the kids. There's this one that I'm,
Okay. Okay.
yes, there's the one that I'm like, okay, you might be the one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you just pray about it. And if, a guy says that's your husband, then, you're a woman of God, so you'll know if it's right or wrong.
Yes, for
It'll
sure.
sit right with you. So we have a tradition on this podcast, and I want you to finish this sentence for me. So talk mom to me because.
Talk mom to me because being a mother is challenging, but with God present, I think we can get through it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like for me, being a first time mom, it's definitely tested my patience, is tested my faith. It's been many of nights. God sees the little things. He sees the waking up late at night. He sees us praying to him in the wee hours in the morning. He see all the sacrifices. And as women, we go through so much. And even after things happen, we still have to carry that load. I'm so thankful that you were open enough. You found healing. You got healing. You're still going through your healing journey. I hope you find peace, more peace
Yes.
in all of this. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I wish strong health and prosperity for you and your kids. That village is coming.
Amen.
I would love to be a part of your village. Even though I'm here, I'm still here. I'm only a call away. And I think you just leaving a comment on my post, I think that was supposed to happen. I'm super thankful. And I want this platform to be where women have a voice because we're all struggling in one thing or another. If you're okay with it, I would love for you to pray before we close out, whatever God puts on your heart.
Okay, well, let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Lord, I come to you tonight and we want to say thank you so much for your grace, your mercy, and your forgiveness. We appreciate you bringing us together for this podcast interview. We appreciate everything that you provide to us on a day-to-day basis. May you continue to spread your love and blessings between us. I pray for good health for everyone and prosperity for everyone. I pray that this reaches the people who it needs to reach. We give you praise, honor, and glory. Magnify, rejoice in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, love, so much. This was amazing. Again, thank you for sharing your story. It definitely touched me, and I'm sure it's going to touch millions of people, putting it out there into existence. Everybody go support, get your book, start. It's a 60-day journey. And I'm looking forward to it.
If you have any questions throughout the process, definitely reach out. Tips
I
and
definitely will.
to help get started, scheduling, nutrition.
Yeah,
Let me know.
I sure will. All right, love. Well, you have a great night, and thank you again. And we'll talk soon.
All right, you have a good night as well. Bye.
We feel it all, we say it loud. You're not alone, you're in this crowd. Talk mommy to me. Real hearts, real talk, real moms on the line. Till next time, you're doing just fine.